Not all exercises were created equally. Some are good and some are just bad. But there are a few that are just so good and so effective that I truly believe all women should do these 8 exercises. If you have never tried this variation of the RDL, I promise you are going to love it. There is no other exercise that you feel your glutes like this one if performed correctly. Doing these are going to work wonders for your glutes. The working leg is the one with your foot positioned on the floor. The other leg is just for support during the exercise. Your leg should be slightly bent, but not too much because you really want to have your hips do the most of the work. Start the movement by hinging at the hips, pushing the hips back as much as you can. This will really stretch the glutes. The hip hinge should be the main movement, and your back should remain straight as you lower your torso. You can use the non-working leg for balance, lightly touching the wall for support. Lower the weights along the front of the working leg while maintaining the natural curvature of the spine. I love to do sumo squats because it has 2 amazing benefits. The first one being that it targets your inner thighs, which are usually neglected, which is bad because it's a huge part of your leg. Another thing is pushing out your knees in a sumo squat is going to give an amazing activation of your deep glute muscles. With the sumo squat, you really want to take a wide stance with your toes pointed slightly outward. Make sure your feet are in a comfortable position, allowing you to maintain balance throughout the movement. Try to keep your knees aligned with your toes during the squat. Your knees should not cave inward as you perform the squat. Squat as deep as your flexibility allows, while keeping proper form. Your goal is to reach at least a 90-degree angle at the knees. Lower your hips down and back up, similar to a regular squat. Keep pushing your knees outward to create an even bigger glute activation. In the lowest position, you should feel your inner thighs activating. The goal is to create a smooth, controlled movement throughout the squat. Most people don't like lunges, and I understand why. They are so hard. This is because lunges that are performed well are a complete leg workout, targeting almost the whole leg. Don't skip lunges. When doing lunges, the size of the step is crucial. The front knee should be directly above the ankle, creating a 90-degree angle when the lunge is performed. The back knee should hover just above the ground. Keep your weight distributed evenly between both legs and avoid leaning too far forward or backward. Find a stable and a comfortable position. If you're struggling with balance, it can be that your feet need to be a bit wider. The front foot should be flat on the ground, and the back foot should be up on the ball of the foot. Make sure you maintain enough distance between your feet to create a stable base. Lower your hips straight down toward the ground. Your hips should move straight down and not push forward, and your knees should not extend beyond the toes. Keep your back straight throughout the lunge. It's important to avoid hunching forward or arching the lower back too much. Go as low as your flexibility allows while maintaining proper form. This helps engage more muscles and create a better workout for your legs. When you do this, you immediately know what it is for, because you will feel the burn in your butt. This exercise targets the side of your glutes and will help create the roundness of your butt. Start in a half squat position, then take a step to the side with one foot, maintaining the tension in the resistance band. Then follow with the other foot. Move laterally, taking small and controlled steps. Keep your knees aligned with your toes and avoid letting your knees cave inward as you step. At the start, take small steps to maintain balance and control. Larger steps can increase the difficulty. Keep tension on the resistance band all the time. This ensures that the exercise effectively targets the hip muscles. Having a great posture doesn't only bring a lot of health benefits, it also has an amazing effect on your overall appearance. Working on the muscles between your shoulder blades is so important, especially for women with big breasts, because sometimes the weight of your breasts can have a negative effect on your posture. Start with a hip hinge. This means bending at your hips while keeping your back straight, as if you're bowing forward. Make sure that your back remains in a neutral position. It is very easy to accidentally make a biceps exercise out of this, by only bending your arms and not using your back. Imagine yourself moving the weight by pulling your shoulder blades together. Let your elbows flare out a little bit, because if you keep them too close to your body, you will limit the range of motion of your shoulder blades. And you will be mostly training your arms instead of your back. Try to keep your shoulder blades as low as possible to avoid using your neck muscles. Also be careful to not arch your back too much. Just keep a neutral spine by always engaging your core. Training your triceps is essential because it's the biggest part of your arm. If your triceps are trained, it's going to help a lot to get rid of any unwanted flabbiness of your arms. It's important to have a good stance. Stand with your feet about hip width apart for stability and maintain an upright posture. Engage your core muscles to provide stability and protect the lower back. Lower the dumbbells down and behind your head by bending your elbows. The forearms should move while the upper arms remain in the same position as much as possible. Perform the French press with slow, controlled movements. Avoid using momentum and keep the tension when lowering the weight down behind your head. Keep your elbows close to your head throughout the movement. This ensures that the triceps are engaged. Don't let your elbows flare out to the sides. This can have a negative effect on your shoulders. Keep them pointing forward. You should feel a stretch in your triceps when lowering the weight behind your head, but be careful not to overstretch or strain the shoulder joint. If you want your whole arms to be well defined, toned, and nothing flapping about, you really need to do lateral raises. This will target the shoulder area, which goes all the way down towards the triceps. Position your feet shoulder width apart and keep your back straight. A slight bend in the knees is okay. Keep the movement slow and controlled. Avoid swinging or jerking the weights. Keep a slight bend in the elbows throughout the exercise. The wrists should remain in line with the forearms to reduce strain on the wrists. Lift the dumbbells to shoulder height or slightly below, no higher. Lifting too high can lead to improper form, shoulder strain, or using your neck muscle too much. You only need to lower the weight about 30 degrees and go back up again. This will keep the tension on your deltoid muscles. Going lower will cause other muscles to take over. This exercise is going to help tighten up your midsection. It works all the muscles in your abdominal area. It's a great way to target the whole midsection with a single exercise. Make sure your starting position is good. Your elbows should be under your shoulders, and your body should form a straight line from head to heels. Engage your core and glutes to avoid sagging or piking your hips. Perform the hip dips in a slow and controlled manner. Rushing throughout the exercise can compromise your form and reduce its effectiveness. You can start with the smaller dips and over time increase the range of motion and intensity as you become more comfortable with the exercise. Overextending the dip can strain the lower back. If you liked the information in this video, you may also like this video right here.